don't know if you all knew this, but when all the brothers were alive, including with Jacob, and when Joseph was ruling in Egypt, they all came down to Egypt, and Joseph and Pharaoh put them in a separate land, which is called Goshen. They were separate away from the Egyptians, and they were living plentiful. They were living very well. And if you look up Goshen, Goshen is for plentiful, bountiful, prosperous, everything. And nothing happened when the brothers were alive and Jacob was alive. But when the last brother Levi passed away, the priest, that's when Egyptians got jealous, and this is where the attack happened with slavery. Let's talk about it. We're going to look at Exodus 1, 7 through 9. And we're also going to be looking up at the book of Jasher, understanding why Yashar'el, descendants of Shem, did not go into slavery right away in Egypt, and how their power and favor became the root of Pharaoh's fear and oppression. And that's exactly what you're seeing right now. The jealousy and the fear of Pharaoh. Exodus 1, 7 through 9 in the King James Version. And the children of Israel were fruitful and increased abundantly, and multiplied and waxed exceedingly mighty, and the land was filled with them. Now there rose up a new king over Egypt, which knew not Joseph. And he said unto his people, Behold, the people of the children of Israel are more and mightier than we. So the book of Jasher also says in chapter 59 through 63, and it gives us a detailed insight, and we're going to understand these verses in light of Jasher. The key insight from Jasher: Israel was not enslaved immediately upon entering Egypt. The sons of Jacob were revered, especially because of Joseph's power as second in command in Egypt. Genesis 41, 40 through 44. As long as the 12 patriarchs lived, the Hebrews had favor and respect. The new Pharaoh did not enslave them until after the death of the last brother Levi, the spiritual priest and the leader. In Exodus 1 and 7, I'm going to explain to you what this meant. And the children of Israel were fruitful and increased abundantly and multiplied. This is the fulfillment of Yahuwah's covenant with Abraham. Genesis 15:5 and Genesis 17:6. Israel's increase was divine and not natural. They became a mighty nation within a nation. And spiritually, a set-apart people growing under the covenant blessing even in a foreign land, Goshen. That's the reason why Yahuwah had placed them in all that land. And Pharaoh said to Jacob, pick the land that you want, and you can live there with your sons and their wives and your family. And Jacob chose Goshen. They weren't oppressed yet. They were thriving. Businesses, flocks, families, and tribal order were being established. In Exodus 1 and 8, now there rose up a new king over Egypt, which knew not Joseph. This is the critical turning point. Jasher 63, 1 through 4 confirms, and Pharaoh, king of Egypt, commanded all his people to make the children of Israel work with rigor from the time that the last of the sons of Jacob had died. The new Pharaoh was either from a different dynasty or deliberately erased the legacy of Joseph. This reflects a modern colonizer behavior. Once leadership dies, they revise history and begin oppression. In Exodus 1 and 9, behold, the people of the children of Israel are more and mightier than we. This is a confession of fear, just like in Numbers 22:3. Moab feared Israel. Moab was sore afraid of the people because they were many. Psalms 83, 3 and 4. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. The Egyptians were saying, they are more powerful than us economically, spiritually, and physically. This was not about slavery first. It was about a strategy to oppress a blessed and mighty people through politics and fear tactics. Israel's power was their identity. Yahuwah blessed them to multiply and lead nations. As long as the tribal heads lived, Yashar'el was protected. Their unity and obedience gave them dominion until they began to intermingle with Egyptian customs, Jasher 63, 7-10. Slavery was triggered by a new regiment and spiritual drift. After Levi's death, spiritual leadership weakened. New Pharaoh equaled the New World Order. The enemy waited until the protection of the patriarchs and the Torah order faded, then launched oppression. Modern day parallel for Yashar'el, melanated descendants today. Just like Pharaoh feared Yashar'el's strength, modern rulers feared the awakening of so-called melanated Americans, Afro-Caribbeans, Afro-Latinos, and others who are descendants of the 12 tribes. They rewrite your history, say you have no heritage, no culture, and they push false identities. But the pattern is repeating. As the remnant multiplies spiritually, the world seems begin to tighten control through social systems, media, false religion, and modern slavery. Yashar'el didn't go into slavery immediately because they were in covenantal favor under Joseph. The 12 patriarchs were spiritual shields, especially Levi, the priest. Their obedience and tribal unity preserved their power. The enemy waited for spiritual covering to disappear before attacking. In Joshua 63:11, and the children of Israel did not hearken unto them, neither did they remove from their works after they were forced into labor. So my people are destroyed for the lack of knowledge in Hosea 4:6. The same enemy is at work today. First, they erased Joseph, black Hebrew contributions. Then they forgot Levi, the Torah. Then they oppressed Yashar'el, the melanated people today in the Americas. But Yahuwah is raising up a remnant, returning to his name, Yahuwah, his son Yahushua, his Torah instructions, and his identity, Yashar'el.